Good morning, South Carolina, and welcome to the Green Table, where we discuss energy matters. This is the South Carolina Clean Energy Community, and we're actually partnered with the North Columbia Business Association, as well as the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce. We want to thank you so much for allowing us to be in front of you this morning to discuss why energy matters. Today's topic is a very significant topic because it's a topic that actually, how can I say, pretty much affects all of us. The topic is, how does climate change affect energy cost burdens here in South Carolina? You know, a lot of times we see these different types of scenarios that take place here in South Carolina, and we don't know the implications or the necessary problems that this may cause to us. At the same exact time, what does it do to our pocketbook? What does it do to our financial status? And most importantly, how does it shape our future? Today I also have with me Mr. Dan Trabeau. He's actually been one of the project rewarders of the South Carolina Clean Energy Community. And we're going to ask Dan, what are some of the reasons why he chose to move forward with this program? And again, how does climate change affect the energy cost burdens in South Carolina? So without further ado, I want to read a small study here that we have going on throughout the United States. And I don't think many people really understand what's going on here in reference to the energy burdens. Addressing energy affordability can help break the cycle of poverty and improve economic development, educational achievement, and public health. High energy burdens can cause a very mental and physical health problems for household members due to the thermal discomfort, inadequate lighting, unsafe housing conditions, and constant financial and social stresses. Individuals who experience high energy burdens may cut back on necessary energy usage and inadequate heating, but their lighting in their homes and their cooling of their homes can result in negative health consequences. So we understand that this not only has a huge effect on our quote-unquote, our environment, but at the same exact time on our health, our social implications, and at the same time our pocketbook. So I want to introduce Mr. Dan Trabeau. Dan Trabeau had a chance to explain the reasons why he thought this program was a good idea for himself. But before he gets to that, Dan, could you go into detail why you feel that the climate change that's going on not only in South Carolina and the Carolinas, but also through the United States, why does climate change matter to us? And also, how does that affect our energy cost burdens?
Well, the climate change has hit us so far the last 10 years, I would say. It's really started to affect the United States. It's been getting so hot in the summertime, and our winters are being more milder, and which doesn't get rid of the insect, community like we would like. But it's also affect the people with the breathing disabilities like asthma, and like I have emphysema. And in the summertime, July and June and August, my power bill goes way up.
Wow.
Because I have to have, about 70 degrees in my house, or I breathe heavy, really hard. And then the power bill goes up to $450
Oh, wow.
a month. And it's hard on somebody that's a senior citizen on a fixed income. And there's many people in the United States just like in the same situation I am. So this is one of the reasons that I was glad you came into my life and Poly Energy, and got set up with my solar systems, and I'm gonna reap the benefits, and so will Mother Earth.
Outstanding, outstanding. Well, thank you again, Dan, Mr. Trabeau, for giving us your feedback on why you feel that the climate change definitely has an effect on our energy cost burden. As Dan said a few moments ago, one of the biggest problems that we're having here in South Carolina is the heating. I mean, it's South Carolina. it gets hot. At the same exact time, we're one of the only states in the United States that use our heating and cooling about 64% of the year. So if you compound that with your housing stock, not having efficient HVAC systems, not having efficient water heaters, not having efficient installation, not having efficient water flowing through your home, not having efficient lighting, can all contribute to higher prices that you're paying on an annual and monthly basis. As a matter of fact, the United States median for utility cost is about 3.5% of your annual household income. South Carolina and states that are like Georgia are anywhere from 7.2 to up to 13 to 15%. So not only do we have this huge energy crisis that's going on, the nuclear debacle that we've recovered from and still trying to shape a better future, but most importantly, we're having some climate change scenarios that are compounding the problem. You know, I was sharing with you earlier, Dan, how we were coming down the highway, and just a couple of days ago, I seen a river literally engulf a golf course. I mean, there was no more driving range, there was no more trees, there's no more grass. Literally, the river flowed over to the golf course, and there was literally an expanded river in front of our faces. As time progressed, as obviously that water had to be taken out, and that golf course owner had to dry that land. That costs money. And so these are just small implications of a huge problem that we have going on in South Carolina and also throughout the world. And we cannot turn our back on these scenarios. Most importantly, how can we solutionize them? So I'm going to go into more detail of reasons why this conversation needs to take place, because not only are seasoned veterans, seasoned citizens like Mr. Dan Trevaux are part of this huge saving that needs to happen, but most importantly, the children. If we look at the children and the elderly, they're more susceptible to health problems. Families suffering from high energy burdens also tend to experience stress from living in constant fear of losing necessary electricity and gas service due to inability to pay their bills. For families in South Carolina, this compounds with other stress, such as difficulty with health care, as Mr. Dan Trevaux talked about, fear of losing their housing, and living in potential unsafe buildings and neighborhoods. The constant stress causes serious health problems. Researchers have also found that high energy burdens affect mental health by creating more stressful environments, increasing social isolation, and negatively impacting the educational achievement and emotional resilience of our children. You see, families that have trouble paying their electric bills may sacrifice nutrition, sacrifice medicine, sacrifice other necessities in order to avoid shutoffs. These effects are especially detrimental to the physical and mental development of children and also our elderly. So we must understand how important this conversation is. Most importantly, we must understand what we have to do about this. So, with your permission, South Carolina, I want you to tune in here from this point forward every Thursday at 11 a.m. And we're going to start to expand this panel about the energy matters here in South Carolina. We're going to expand this conversation to our communities, to our leaders, to our programs, to our policymakers, and most importantly, to the South Carolinians to make a decision of a better future. We can only do this by educating. We can only do this by engaging. But most importantly, we can only do this by energizing our activities for a brighter future. So I want to thank you so much for coming here this morning at the Green Table, where energy does matter, sponsored again by the South Carolina Clean Energy Community, the North Columbia Business Association, and the Geechee Gullah Chamber of Commerce. We welcome you again to come back next week at 11 a.m. to discuss more about how energy matters at the Green Table. Thank you, and we look forward to serving your needs. Things to be perfect. We don't want it to be like it's a script. Every single solitary week, we're going to bring more people here because it's a problem. It should not be a conversation that we just pushing back the community in order to pull up these oligarchs, in a sense, in order to make sure that their pockets are full while our pockets in our homes are empty.
Yeah.
We're going to start having this conversation. We're going to expand the panel. We're going to hoop. We're going to holler. We're going to curse. We're going to have a conversation that engages the community, because this has got to stop today in order for us to have a better tomorrow.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.